Welcome to this presentation, where today I will be walking through the Advanced Inventory to GL Reconcile Report, an app currently available on AppSource for Business Central for free for everyone. So what is the new Advanced Inventory to GL Reconcile Report? This is basically an enhanced version of the standard Microsoft Business Central Inventory to GL Reconcile Report. Except we made some improvements, what we feel are improvements to this report, to make it easier for the typical user to understand what they're looking at. So first, let's just review the standard Reconcile to Inventory report. So if I run this, I'm just going to select a date here, we'll preview the report. And what you'll see is you've got a lot of good information here. This is the primary report you should be using to reconcile inventory accounts, GL to the general ledger. So what you'll see is you have, for example, many columns here. The first column here, inventory valuation, is actually the grand total of your total inventory value for the item, which is really effectively a total of total expected cost waste value. So right out of the gate, it's kind of a little difficult to understand which columns are which. You also have a lot of other columns here. Let's take a look at the advanced version of this report. Let's just put it here, reconcile. There we are. Same report, same filter options, same request page. But now what you'll notice is a little bit cleaner view of the report. So one of the first things we did is we removed a few columns from this report that we feel we don't necessarily have to have on here. It was a lot of the to be posted columns. And if we kind of start with the assumption that the user first verifies that all of their inventory values and costs have been updated to the GL, we can then eliminate those columns because we're starting from that point. The second thing you'll notice is that we've rearranged and reorganized the columns. So for example, the biggest example is the total inventory, the inventory valuation column that you saw over on the far left is now over on the far right. As the total inventory valuation is really just the sum of the total expected cost plus the total actual cost. So you add these two together, and then you get your grand total on the far right side, more typical of a traditional report. You will obviously also notice that we have color-coded the column headings to kind of group them together. So some purchase side columns are green, sales columns blue, and then this WIP one is orange. Speaking of these green, blue, and orange columns, these are new. Some of these columns are new columns that we have added. We have split out the quote received not invoiced so that we are now separately showing purchase returns that are in the interim stage or shipped not invoiced. Similarly, on the sales side, we have added sales returns received not yet invoiced to kind of break this apart and make it a little bit easier to understand where these values are coming from. And the final thing is, if you're using the manufacturing module and you have work in process, we have separately split out the WIP value. It used to be kind of included in these other columns here. We've added a separate WIP column. It just makes this report a lot easier to understand. Last thing is we kind of just relabeled a couple columns. The total invoiced value is now called total actual cost. We just added the word total here to inventory valuation so that it's understood that this is kind of a grand total column here. We feel like these changes that have been made to the standard inventory to GL reconcile report will make it much easier for users to utilize this data and interpret the data that they're looking at. Hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.